The courtyard didn't disperse the way it should have. After the oath, there was no formal whistle, just a slow unraveling of formation. The newly named fangs stood in loose clusters, the weight of what they'd just become settling in differently for each of them. Some spoke quietly, some didn't speak at all. Some, like Winta, were already acting like nothing had changed. So we're official now, Winta said, stretching his arms overhead. Do we get, like, benefits, discounts, a cool handshake? Jale snorted. Yeah, you get more work. Marno looked around nervously. It still doesn't feel real. It's real, Peck said flatly. That ended that. Near the edge of the courtyard, Rakuto stood with Sogi. Neither of them were celebrating. Neither of them looked like they expected to. Fang, Rakuto muttered. Still sounds weird. Sogi leaned against a pillar, arms crossed. You'll get used to it. Footsteps approached. Not loud, but noticeable. Both of them looked up. Ashenver, vice captain. He didn't carry the same cold sharpness as Solora or the suffocating weight of Kethar, but there was something different about him. Controlled energy, contained power, his gaze moved between them. Rakuto Kaze. Sogi. Rakuto raised a brow slightly. That's us. Ashen studied them for a second longer than necessary. You two stand out. Sogi didn't respond. Rakuto scratched his cheek. Good or bad? Ashen didn't answer that. I won't be here long, he said instead. I've been assigned to the Amber Village. That caught Rakuto's attention. What's there? Ashen's eyes shifted slightly. A relic. A pause. The Pyraxis Eye. The name carried weight. Not loud, but heavy. It's a fire eye, Ashen continued. An ignition-type essence core. Rare, unstable, requires a wielder to unlock it. Rakuto blinked. You're a wielder? Ashen nodded once. Sogi's eyes sharpened slightly. That explains something. Captain Rick trained me, Ashen added. That shifted the tone again. Rakuto let out a quiet breath. Figures. Ashen's gaze lingered on Rakuto just a moment longer. Be careful, he said. Not advice, not concern, just fact. Then he turned and left. Rakuto exhaled slowly. Everybody here is hiding something, he muttered. Sogi didn't disagree. You included. Rakuto smirked faintly. Yeah. Night came faster than expected, but instead of quiet, it broke into noise. Barracks lower wing music. Laughter. Too loud. Too alive. Rena stood at the center of it all, arms raised like she had personally conquered the Empire. We survived, she shouted. That deserves a party. And somehow, it worked. Recruits filled the room. Not all of them, but most. Jael leaned against the wall, watching the chaos unfold. This is definitely not allowed. Winta already had a drink in hand. That's why it's fun. Marno looked overwhelmed. There's a lot of people. Ai stood off to the side, calm as ever. Pex wasn't there. Sogi wasn't there. Mira wasn't there. Some people didn't celebrate. In the middle of it, conversations flowed. Heard the captain left already. Yeah, him and the vice captains. Where? Northeast District. Why? A shrug. Something about a breach, trade routes getting hit, black market syndicates pushing into Empire-controlled zones. Sounds serious. It always is. The music got louder, the energy rose, the tension dropped just enough. And then it broke. A sharp, piercing alarm tore through the entire base. Not loud, violent, immediate. Every light shifted red, every sound cut off. Silence slammed into the room like a wall. That's not good, Jael muttered. A voice followed. Cold, direct. Commander Brackle, emergency order. All active fangs report to the deployment hall immediately. No explanation, no delay. Moments later, deployment hall. The energy had completely flipped. No music, no laughter, just tension. Brackle stood at the front, waiting, watching, counting. We have a situation, he said once they were assembled. A nearby settlement, River Village, has reported multiple entity signatures. A screen flickered behind him. Initial classification, B rank. A pause. Normally, new fangs would not be deployed for this. That wasn't reassuring. But, Brackle continued, our captains and vice captains are currently deployed in the Northeast District handling a priority-level incursion involving organized syndicate forces breaching supply routes. That explained their absence. We don't have time to wait. His gaze moved across the room. Then, 6 will deploy. Silence. Then names. Still. AI. Calm. Jale. A breath. Focused. Winta. Of course, he muttered. A pause. Then, Rakuto Kaze. All eyes shifted. Rakuto blinked once. Yeah, figured. Brackle didn't explain further. Prepare immediately. Departure in 2 minutes. River Village. The transport didn't take long. Too fast. Too quiet. And when they arrived, something was wrong. Immediately. The air felt still. too still, no movement, no sound, just the faint smell of something metallic. This doesn't feel like B rank, Jal said quietly. No, Pex replied. They stepped further in and saw it. Bodies, everywhere. Dozens, entities, all of them. Dead, not scattered, not fought, dropped, like something had ended them instantly. Winta stared. Yo, AI's gaze hardened slightly. This isn't normal. Rashk said nothing, but his stance shifted. Pex stepped forward slowly. Her eyes scanned everything, every detail, every mark, every pattern. Then she stopped. Her voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. We're not dealing with B ranks. A pause. Her eyes lifted into the fog ahead. There are 3 signatures. Silence. A rank. That landed. Heavy. Immediate. Wrong. The fog shifted. Slowly, deliberately, and something moved within it, watching them, waiting. This wasn't a mission. It was a setup.
I start from here, I catch up with you. I don't look back on myself anymore. I start from here.